Hi everyone, it's Magdalena, Wolf of Coins. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to another Dreaming Moon series that I'm a part of. And for finding out about other videos from other creators, check the video description below. And now I wanted to talk about the situation when you've had a dream, you feel it's significant. It feels significant. There are some symbols there, but you just cannot put your finger on it. Like, what's the message here? You know there's a message, but it's hard to get it. So in those situations, I tend to use cards, usually Oracle and Tarot together. And for each dream, I create another spread, and I will try and explain to you how I do that. So you can use any deck you feel comfortable with, really. Good ones for me are the more whimsical ones. So for example, I usually use the Initiatory Golden Dawn deck that I don't use for everyday stuff because it's kind of weird, but for dreamy stuff I think it's a good one. Or this time I also used my Nicoletta Ciccoli Tarot turned Oracle by me. So I actually made a video about it. I turned my tarot deck into an oracle. But yeah, it's a deck that gives you like really those whimsical, dreamy images. But yeah, you can also use Tarot de Marseille. Here I used the Majors Only hand painting deck that I got from Sullivan Hismans. It's his Jean Dodali Tarot, beautiful deck. I have a walkthrough of it on my channel. And I also used here the Angels and Ancestors Oracle. But as I said, you can use any deck you like, you feel comfortable with. So if you have this dream, and as I said, there are some things that look like they are important, symbolic. So try and make a list of them and what they might think about, what they might mean. Like if there's a glass that has an important role in the dream, what can it symbolize? Like a symbol of a chalice with the water of life, or inspiration, and mead of the poets, you know. Think about it. Or if you dream about, let's say, mice in your house, it might be something that is like stealing grain from you. Right? Also think about if your dream happens to be in your house, where in the house are you? Is it basement, so subconscious stuff, or the kitchen, or is it the bathroom? What can it mean? And if you cannot come up with explanations, then try to go with the cards. And yeah, once I had a dream that was about the bathroom, and it was about cleansing, right? There's water, there's cleansing, and kitchen is your creation point, like you're creating food there, and also there's nourishment for you. So try seeing things symbolically. And then once you write them down, and some of them you can explain without the cards because they're obvious, and some of them are like, yeah, I know it's important, but what does it mean? So yeah, also remember, what was your attitude towards that object, that glass? Did you want it? Did you not want it? How did it feel to hold it and stuff like that? What can it mean in the whole like pattern of the dream. So what I usually do is to write down those symbols, and then also at the end I also usually pull 3 cards for to sum everything up and connect it to each other. A general message of the dream. Okay, please tell me. So now an example of a dream, and it was an interesting one. Actually, I've been reading a lot of Joseph Campbell recently, and he talks about how our dreams that are significant, they often borrow stories from myth that we know. For people who grew up Christian, it might be stories from the Bible. But if you learned about at school, for example, about Greek mythology, then your brain might also use it. And I think in this case, I borrowed the story from the Garden of Eden, because the dream was such. I was going somewhere by bus, and there was my female friend with me, and all of a sudden we had to get off the bus. It was kind of in the middle of nowhere, and the bus stopped. We didn't know exactly why. Like, it's in a dream, you know, everything is so unclear. But yeah, we had to get off the bus, and there was a plum tree, and there were like ripe fruits on it. So my friend took some fruits from the tree, and then the driver came. He was a driver slash, like, I don't know, a guardian there, and he was like, "Oh, don't do that, you shouldn't like pick those plums." But she did anyway, and so did I. Later on, I don't remember myself picking the plums. I just saw, oh, I have one in my hand too. And then also my sister kind of appeared there, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, and my friend, she said, "Look, I discovered that I have a shape of a snake on my hand." And it was like, I don't know, like she was burned a bit, but it was in this wavy shape, and she said, "I have a snake on my hand." Okay, so yeah, and then things happened, and at some point there appeared a snake, like a big green snake, and we were afraid. So we started like trying to avoid it and to run away. And in the end, it started following me. And of course I was terrified. I was afraid, you know, it bites me, I will, I don't know, die or be sick. And yeah, and then it got me. It kind of turned into like a half human, half snake, a man, and he grabbed me. And now a drastic part, if you're too sensitive, please don't listen. He actually bit me into my womb. And then I made myself wake up, because I realized it's a dream. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want this beast biting me. I'm waking up. And I woke up with like trembling, and it was so intense. So intense. And I was like, what the heck was that all? What was all that? And of course I started thinking about it. Then I saw that there's like a pattern taken from Genesis. Okay, because there's my female friend who had this snake on her hand, and she took the fruit from the tree, and there was this guy who was like not happy about it. So it's like God in the Garden of Eden and Eve taking those fruits, and then there was a snake, of course. And snake bites in general, like I read in Joseph Campbell's books, are very significant on a really deep level. Like they appear in dreams for people who like don't have anything to do with snakes anymore, but in the old times there were so many like initiations related to snakes. It somehow still lingers. So yeah, so I thought, okay, so the snake bit me, and it's a kind of probably like an initiation. And the story of like Garden of Eden, it's again, Joseph Campbell writes a lot about it, but there are those first people who lived in paradise in a kind of non-life, because there was no suffering, and you have no suffering, you have no life. Everything is perfect, everything is static, there is no life there, right? So once they are thrown out of the garden, life begins, okay? And they become like individual beings. They are not one with everything anymore. They are kicked out. So this is a kind of like an initiation, and a necessary one too. And yeah, so that's what I thought. But I thought, yeah, but what's it about? I mean, okay, initiation, change in my life, into what? So then I took cards. And then the questions I had, first I remembered that I was afraid of the snake. However, the bite itself was not painful. I woke up because I was afraid. I didn't want the snake to proceed, if I can put it this way. So I woke up because I was afraid. So, excuse me. So I pulled cards for the fear. What was my fear about? What was I afraid of? Because this could like lead me to the topic, like what the dream is about. And I took the Checkerly oracle, and I had this. And I have this, my little notebook that I turned into guidebook for this. So yeah, so I looked at the picture, but I also opened my little guidebook, and yeah, it was like, be careful what you're eating. What are you feeding yourself? Is it something like that will give you sustenance, or will it poison you, your like body and mind? And so yeah, so I think, and I was like looking at this card, and oh, that's ridiculous. There was a venomous snake in my dream. Of course, I was afraid of the venom. But yeah, I was afraid that whatever is going to happen is going to poison me in a way. Plus, I took one card from the Tarot of the Vampires by Ian Daniels, and I got the moon. So there's like a lot about the moon in the guidebook. I suppose in any tarot guidebook anyway. But yeah, it's interesting because it also talks of, I mean, it's of course the moon is subconscious and our feelings and whatnot. It's also creativity. So I thought, okay, it has something to do with my creative part, which is, as I mentioned in the previous videos, like my most significant dreams are about that topic anyway. Okay, so but yeah, I had this moon. So I whatever was going to happen, I was afraid it will change me. It will somehow, I don't know, poison my creativity, influence it. Let's stop at that. Then the second question I asked was, because I discovered it's a kind of like an initiation. I thought, okay, there is one stage from which I'm departing, and there is another stage that I'm going towards. So I asked, what am I leaving? And I got the world. And I got the guardian angel. Yeah, so I thought that I am just now leaving a reality where I was in control. Like the world was mine, but it was a small, confined world. I was like guarded. I was enclosed in this little world, which I am leaving now. Then I decided, because this is the majors only deck, I thought it would be good to use these archetypical images for some parts of the reading. And I decided the next position would be the bite. What is the bite? And look at that. I got the judgment. So, okay, you died, and this is your wake-up call. You're leaving this place and you're waking up. So this is indeed initiation into something. So you're leaving this and you're going towards Eight of Swords and Eagle. See from a higher perspective. So then I was like, it makes kind of a bit of sense, because I will be, most probably, soonish starting working with an editor on my book. So I thought, okay, yeah, I will be leaving the situation in which the text was only mine and I was in control of the full text. And this great change in my life, because it will be my debut, it will be tough, because I will feel exposed. Like, look at this cute little rose exposed to those stilettos, double stilettos. Anyway, eesh. But it will give me a higher perspective. And I'm of the opinion that any novel needs an editor, an outsider's eye, and basically that, to make it a good book, simply. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm afraid that once I'm working with someone and then I see some, I don't know, if like mistakes or maybe things that could be better, that are not good enough or something, that it will be hard for me, because I might take it, personally instead of professionally, so that it will poison me and my view of my creativity, that I will simply, it will simply hurt, and I will have problems connecting with my creativity again. And then there's the message, but still, of course, this is important and it has to be done, and I always agreed about that. It's just we have our rational part that understands that, and then our emotional part that has to work on First of all, it's hard for this part to act logically because but we have to work on, as creators, we have to work on not taking things personally, and believing that if there are some things that are to be fixed, it's just the way it is with any book. Okay, it doesn't mean you're a horrible writer and you won't ever do anything good. So yeah, and then the general meaning of the dream message. I got the Sun, so from the Majors Only deck. I got the Hierophant, and I got the Heart Guardian. Love and let yourself be loved. So I thought, wow, this is incredible, because in the guidebook for this moon card, Tarot of the Vampires, there is like a reminder that we are here, but it also means that we're next going to the sun. Remember that you're going to this moment. And I got the sun here. And here we have these two people like cooperating, helping each other. We have this wise old guy here with the scroll, and we have this heart here. So cooperation and learning from this experience are very important, and you need to do that. That's important, and it has to happen. You need this higher perspective, but you need to remember to have enough love. So don't get too critical on yourself. Remember, when you're doing this person is supposed to help you, like share their knowledge with you, not to like bring you down and make you feel horrible about yourself. So remember about that, and remember that you need to work on that. And remember that how you felt about your book, that you thought it's a good book, and give yourself love and understanding. So so that was my interpretation of this dream. If you had similar experiences, please let me know. If you used this technique, please let me know. Please share. I would love to hear it. And thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.